Hi guys, a lot of people have been asking me what setup have I been running on my Animate Guardian here. I'm magic finding towers T12 for like about probably like 2 weeks, and last week, probably about a week ago, I added Animate Guardian to my build because I wasn't really using a 6 link on my chest, as my clear skill is enough to just clear the whole map. I don't really need a single target setup. And the Enemy Guardian is amazing. It's so good. As you can see here, I have 254 Rarity without buffs on. I can go way higher, like 328 plus this one, and I can also link item Rarity, but I can go way higher. But with the Animate Guardian, I go from 254 to, when he's near me, I go to 284. It gives me 30 Rarity. It also gives me 10% fortification, which is 10% less damage taken when he's near me. And he also gives me Calling Strike, which is technically 10% more damage. And also, it gives me 50% crit multi. And as you can see, if I look at my skill here, offense, and look at my crit multi, I have 571. If I take the Enemy Guardian off, it goes down by 50. So it's basically a lot of damage. And if you want, you can even get more. The current version I have right now is really tanky. It's pretty much invulnerable to damage. Like, you can't really kill him in maps if you're running this setup. It's really, really hard to kill him. My old Animate Guardian was way squishier, but it gave me way more damage. I'll go over all the setups of gear now. And it only died once, but since I switched to this setup, it never died. I can leave him AFK in like a pack of Beyond mobs, and he's gonna pretty much tank everything. I'm gonna show you how I do it. My setup is Minion Life. I'm using the basic one because I have enough regen from my helmet and my chest. But if you're missing some regen, you can go for Anomalous. It gives 2% life regen. The Animate Guardian, the best one is Divergent. It gives 40% minion life at 20% quality. It's insane. You should probably go for Divergent. It's really good. For mid shield, the best one for me, at least, is Fizz damage reduction. But if you want, you can also go for Block or for Divergent. But I prefer damage reduction. And for Elemental Army support, I prefer the basic one. It gives a level 2120. It gives 5% to all maximum resist, so it makes your Enemy Guardian from 75 all res to 80% max res, which is really, really good. And it also helps cap his res, which is kind of hard to do if you're using a lot of uniques, but we're going to be using 2 rares in this setup. And as the last gem, you can either use Empower if you're using a normal Enemy Guardian, or you can use an Enhance if you're using a Divergent Animate Guardian and you use a level 3 Enhance. It's gonna give you like 24% quality, I think. Yeah, it's gonna give you 24% quality, which is 48% increased max life, which is better than Empower. I only known this recently, so I didn't swap yet. But Enhance, if you're using the alternate quality Divergent Animate Guardian, is technically better, I think. But even Empower is fine if you have it. And as the last link, you can either use Golem. I prefer Stone Golem because it helps with looting, and he's also really tanky. It barely dies in maps. It's really hard for the Stone Golem to die. And the Anime Guardian is way, way tankier than the Stone Golem. And the setup of gear that I'm running at the moment... Oh, by the way, the Anime Guardian has these resists to start with. 40 or res and 20 chaos res. And Elemental Army gives him 29. So it goes up to 69 or res. So we only need 11 of each res to make him go to 80 res. But we also have Purity of Elements usually on your Magic Find build. You also have Purity of Element. So if he's near you, you won't have problems with resist because you cap him with the Purity of Elements. But it's always good to have him capped even when he's like a little bit further away from you. By the way, the best weapon for sure is KingMaker. You need this. It gives you everything that you need for a Magic Finder. It's like amazing. And now our goal after we take this is to basically make him stay alive. As gloves, the best choice I think is the Southbound. Try to get 16% max life. They're pretty cheap, like 5 chaos. As a helmet, you have two main choices. If you go for Crown of the Tyrant and you choose the color of socket that you need, if you're using Trinity, try to balance your Trinity and you either use blue or green for cold or lightning damage. Or if you're pure cold, you go green. And it also gives 10% to all res to mobs near him. This is like really good damage. but it's kind of squishy because the other option for the Animate is Mask of the Stitch Demon, which is insane. Basically, it scales your regen based on your energy shield, and there's some crazy ways to scale energy shield. For an example, if you buy a test like this with percent life, maybe some feast damage reduction or some chaos res as a suffix, so you can cap the chaos res, and an open prefix like this, you can go in your bench and you can craft the mod on the chest as extra, maximum life as extra energy shield, and since the Animate Guardian has an insane amount of flat HP, probably like 50,000, this 10% is going to give you like 5,000 energy shield or something like that. And since it gives you 1% regen based on energy shield, your Animate Guardian is gonna have so much regen that he's just gonna chill in the middle of like a Beyond pack just hitting him. He's gonna have so much regen. If you wanna be doing way more damage, you can use the Crown of the Tyrant. But if you like just lazy mapping and you never want him to die ever, I would go for Max of the Stitch Demon plus a rare chest with some other bonus like Fizz damage reduction, chaos res, and crafted crafted life as extra energy shield. And for other options for the chest, if you want him to make to be more support for you, you can use this chest, which is really strong. It makes enemies cannot deal crit strikes, which makes you survive a lot more, and also it makes you not be able to be slowed, especially in stuff like Delhi. If you're doing some Delirium maps and there's like slows on the ground, this is really useful. And yeah, this is a really good option. It makes him also pretty tanky because the divine charges are really strong. And the other option, if you're going with the kind of glass cannon helmet, which is Crown of the Tyrant, you can go for Doppelganger guys and try to divine the less Fizz and Chaos damage taken while sane to as high as possible, like at least like near 25. And basically, your Animate Guardian is always going to be sane because it's the basic mode of this chest, and it cannot switch because the Animate Guardian is like not a player. He will always have the base stats of 10% life regen when you get hit, and the 25% less Fizz and Kills damage because you always have this stance. And this is really good. It can survive pretty much almost everything, but if you're not careful and it just walks into like big breaches or like a big RB pack, it can actually take a lot of damage and die. If you are like careful, you can just open your inventory and double click to despawn your Animate Guardian. As you can see here, is alive, and I just double click my chest. If you take it off for a split second and then you put it back, it's gonna be desummoned. But if you go with the rare chest and the Stitch Demon, this is not really a problem. It basically is face tanking everything in my maps, and I don't have to worry about it. And I still get all the bonus from KingMaker. My build does enough damage that I don't really need the Crown of the Tyrant. But if you're struggling with damage and you're doing maybe lower tiers, maybe go for this setup. And for boots, a really important part is the regen on the implicit, on the enchant. Getting an enchant is really good. I would recommend getting the enchant for regen. And as the other mods, maybe try to get some life, some move speed. And as suffixes, try to get some chaos res if you can, because if you remember, we only have like 20 chaos res base. And the only two rare items are chest here, where you can get some chaos res or some fizz damage reduction, as well as percent HP. Percent HP is really good because it scales the base HP, which is really high. And on the boots, try to get some chaos res or some. Also, we're missing 11 fire and lightning res. The cold res comes from the gloves, as I said before. Like, we get 40 cold res, so we are way over capped on cold. If you can, between the chest and the boots, try to get 11 fire res, 11 lightning res, and like 40, 50 chaos res if you can. But the chaos damage is not really a problem if you have enough regen, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. The chaos damage is only a problem on ground, caustic ground maps if you don't have any specific regen. Like this is like conditional regen, that if you get hit, you regen, but the Stitch Demon is always up, so if you're running maps where there's a caustic ground, he actually loses life using this chest. If he never gets it, if you're looting for a while, he can actually die from just the digit on the ground, so be careful about that. And there's 2 more things that I need to mention. If you want to anoint Grave Intentions, it's really cheap to anoint. And it gives a lot of Chaos Res and 20% of maximum life as extra energy shield. It basically makes your Guardian, Animate Guardian, twice as tanky as that mod that we got on the chest. And he also gives you a lot of Chaos Res, but you have to sacrifice a good anoint. For example, I'm getting Cold Pen here. So it's kind of up to you if you want to make him tankier and get better stats on the Animate Guardian by sacrificing some defenses on the gear, so you get better uniques, or if you want to like get the anoint and just make him a little bit squishier. And another thing is when you summon your Animate Guardian, make sure that you summon it where there's no loot on the ground, because if you summon it near, like in the middle of the map, for some, like for example, if you summon him and then you despawn him during the map, and then you summon it mid-map, if there's loot on the ground, the Animate Guardian can actually override the items that he currently has on him with the loot on the ground. So be careful that you're not summoning him, targeting any loot. So to be sure, just summon it in your hideout. There can't be any loot in your hideout. So if you summon it in your hideout, you should be safe. Or at the start of the map when you didn't kill anything. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.